Hey everyone, welcome back to our Heritage Group channel. My name is G, and we're here presenting another white glove service car for you guys. This is a 2020 Aston Martin Vantage V8. So if you're not familiar with our white glove service, make sure to visit our website and check it out. That's where we help our clients with photography, videos, marketing, and auction management. So let's get into this Aston here. This is a 2020 Aston Martin Vantage. It's the 4.4 liter V8 in these. And this one here is finished in onyx black exterior, and the interior is black Alcantara with red leather accents. Overall, the car looks fantastic. It looks very mean, kind of like a new school Batmobile, and it drives fantastic as well. The engine in this car is borrowed from the AMG, Mercedes AMG GTs. You have the twin turbo V8, and it puts out a good amount of power, and it's pretty quick. Given that the car is pretty short too, it's very agile, and it's such a blast to drive, especially on canyon roads. This Aston was purchased by the current seller from Florida in 2023, and since then he's spent his time driving this car on the weekends, enjoying it, and getting a taste of what Aston Martin has to offer. Owning an Aston was one of his dreams, and after owning this car, he's loved it a lot during his ownership time, and it's time for him to move on to his next car. So this is for sale at auction, and we're looking for its next caretaker. This Aston is a clean title car. It's never been in an accident, and the body panels and everything line up perfectly. The paint matches all around, and it's original paint on the car. Coming around to the sides over here, you'll notice that on the quarter panels in front of the rear wheels, there are some rock chips. It's not too noticeable from afar. When you get up close, you'll notice it. Otherwise, the car is in great shape, like I mentioned. All maintenance has been done at Aston Martin, and minor maintenance as far as oil changes, filters, etc. Right now, the wheels on the car are 20-inch Aston original wheels, and they're wrapped in Pirelli P0 tires. The tires themselves have a lot of life left on them. The front right tire has a minor bubble, which we'll be replacing the front two tires for you guys, so that's no worries. And the only other thing on the car is the passenger side AC vent is broken, but we've ordered this as well, and that will be replaced as well prior to the sale. Now, when talking about the exterior and the styling of the car, I just really love the design of it. I think Aston did a fantastic job designing this car. It looks very sleek and elegant, yet at the same time furious and mean. The cuts of the car, if you follow the lines leading up to the rear spoiler, along with the curved tail lights, it just looks fantastic on it. The diffuser on it gives it a very aggressive look. And the stance on the car is very wide and really nice. Okay, let's talk about the interior on this Aston Martin here. So, as mentioned, this is covered in black Alcantara, and it's contrasted with red leather. I think this combo works perfectly on these cars. I've seen a few of these actually that with the full leather interior, and it just doesn't look as nice, you know. It doesn't look as luxurious. It doesn't look as good as this interior does. And this is additional options that the owner's gotten with the car from the dealer, well, the first owner. And I think it really pulls it together and makes the car what it is, you know. The suede feels really nice. There's no rubbing away or tears or cracks or anything like that, even on the leather too. It's in great shape, 20,000 miles on the entire car. And inside you'll notice that you have your center console, that's where your push start button is. You have your park, your reverse, neutral, and your drive. In order to switch through the modes, as far as track mode or comfort mode, it's on the steering wheel. You can see the S button. That shifts through the engine modes to the track mode. And then on the left side, you have the same button with the suspension sign. That stiffens up the suspension for you. The seats themselves, they hug you very well. When you're driving regularly or even at speed, you'll feel that the bolster support is really nice on it and they're really comfortable. It's easy to go on long drives with this car. The doors do come up pretty tall, and you'll see that the windows look really skinny on the car. You'll feel like you're inside a race car. When you open the doors, they open up upwards a little bit. This helps you avoid any curbs. And when it comes to electronics on the car, everything works, from the windows to the stereo, AC, heater, everything works perfectly. So one of my favorite attributes on this car is the engine in this thing. Like I said, this shares the same engine as the AMG GT. This is a 4.4 liter twin turbo V8. And it's got a lot of power and it sounds fantastic, of course, like all AMGs do. This just happens to be in a little better styled car. And so the engine on this thing is very healthy. It's, like I said, only 20,000 miles on the car. It's been maintained at the dealership, all oil changes and maintenance done on time. Right now there's no problems or anything with it. It drives like a dream, starts right up every time. And gets you where you need to go with a big smile on your face. Transmission on the car is an 8-speed automatic transmission. You have the paddle shifters on the steering wheel, shifts through all the gears perfectly, and it pulls really hard. Sounds fantastic while doing it. If you want to be a little more low-key, you can just throw it in the sport mode. Cuts down the exhaust noise by a little bit. But if you really want to feel what the car is made of and enjoy it for what you bought it for, I would just throw it in Sport Plus or track mode and hear the exhaust and feel the engine to its full potential. Overall, it makes driving very fun. It handles very well like it's on rails and gives you a lot of confidence. So let's talk about how this Aston Martin Vantage drives. Right now I have the car in track mode for the engine, and then comfort mode on the suspension, using the paddle shifters to shift. It's in manual mode. First thoughts on the car when you get in and start driving it. It feels very fast, very quick and agile, ready to get up and go or take any turn at any speed at any moment. It's very planted. The car itself, I mean, it literally just goes as soon as you turn the steering wheel. Now, when it comes to the engine on this car, like I said, it does have the Mercedes AMG GT V8, 4.4 liter V8 twin turbocharged. Even before the turbos kick in, it's got plenty of power. When the turbos do kick in, it really puts you back in the seat. And the power is very exhilarating. It's very fun. It makes it a blast to drive the car. You just constantly want to just get on it, you know. Of course, with that comes the gas mileage. It's not the best on MPGs, but it's probably one of the better ones on miles per gallon. So it won't leave you disappointed. And that sound that the car makes, I don't know if you guys can hear that too well through the mic. I'll try to get some exhaust notes for you guys, but it's just so fascinating. It does sound like a true AMG, I'm not gonna lie. If you close your eyes and just listen to the sound, it sounds more like a Mercedes than Aston should sound like. But with that, I mean, Mercedes doesn't sound bad at all. You know, AMG has one of the best exhaust notes, so I'm glad they went with Mercedes on this engine if they were to go with anyone. Obviously, the new V12s, that's a different animal, but if we're talking about V8s only, this is such a fantastic car. So, when it comes to the suspension on the car, right now I have it in soft sport mode, regular sport mode, or their comfort mode, I guess. The reason why I have it in here is because I like the softness and the give in the shocks on this mode. It really is a pleasure to drive it in this mode because it's not too stiff, it's not backbreaking, so it makes you enjoy the ride a lot more. Now, if you're on a track, I would see the potential in going to the track mode on the suspension as well. It really stiffens up the car and it gives it that extra bit of edge to take the corners. But otherwise, on normal roads, especially here in LA with these horrible roads we have here, it really helps to just drive it on the regular sport mode. Acceleration on the car is pretty freaking quick, excuse my language, but it's a pretty fast car. It sounds very nice as well. When it comes to visibility out of the car, front end I can see over the bonnet. I can't see the front of the car obviously, but it's got pretty good visibility out the front. It's got a very low roof and a low roof line for the windshield, but you can still see it a lot. When you look over to your sides, the door does sit high up, so the windows for the left side and right side are pretty small. You still have great visibility, especially with these huge side view mirrors. I mean, I really have no blind spots here. The rear quarter panel windows help as well. If you turn your head, you can really see anyone in your blind spot. And then the rear view, yeah, I mean, there really isn't much blind spots on this car. They designed it pretty well. You do sit pretty low in the car. You feel like you're in a cockpit of a race car, you know? It doesn't feel like a regular commuter car. It feels a lot more sporty, of course, as it should. But overall, it's just a joy, you know? And then you have your Alcantara wrapped interior, which just makes it a pleasure to look at and feel. The red accents in here, it really contrasts and pops, makes it a little more edgy and a little more sportier, a little meaner. This car gets compliments everywhere we take it, and overall it's a great driver's car. Braking on the car is fantastic. I mean, this car just stops on a dime. The brakes do squeak a little bit when they're cold. We've noticed that squeaking goes away a little bit once it starts warming up. The brakes themselves are in great shape. The rotors are not warped; they're straight, and the pads have a pretty good amount of life left on them still. Electronics and infotainment on the car. You do have your FM, AM stereo, obviously, Bluetooth connectivity, and navigation and all of that as well. Heated seats. These heated seats work magic on cold days for sure. In fact, they're on right now. And all other electronics work as they should as well. Like mentioned, the passenger side AC vent, will be replacing that before the new owner takes delivery of the car. The current owner has had a fantastic time driving this thing. and he's checked it off his bucket list, and now it's time to move on to his next car. So this car is currently up at auction. If you're interested, I would urge you to bid below. Don't wait until the last second. We've had plenty of times where people waited to the last second and weren't able to get their bids on time and ended up missing out on a great deal. So make sure to get your bids in. And if you have any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. We'll get back to all of you soon. Happy bidding.